Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Tuplex, and you can see that I've made a couple changes. Actually, there's a lot to go over today. Normally I don't like to do too much offline or off camera because I know that some of you like to see everything that I'm doing. But to be honest, in this playthrough, because I'm a little bit less familiar with Angel's mods and Bob's mods than I am with the vanilla game, part of my process of just figuring stuff out is just to walk around the base and tweak things here and there and look around until it becomes clear what it is that I want to do next. So I have been doing a little bit of work off camera, but I think most of it is probably some stuff that you might consider rather tedious, like laying rail and so forth. Now, I will discuss some of the interesting things that I've done, or the more interesting things. I've put passive provider chests here in the hardware store so that I can request items. Right, so I've got requests right now for logistic stuff, basically, including loaders. I added a machine over here to make the fast loaders, and those require steel gears. So I'm actually bringing the steel gears in, but via robot from over here. And then I upgraded the train because I wanted something that would help me lay rail more quickly. Because with the bots that I have right now, it's a little bit slow. So I was taking a look at some of the equipment here, and actually let me look for it here in Angel's Logistics. So we've got this crawler construction train locomotive, and then we've got the crawler construction train wagon and crawler construction train robot wagon. So the robot wagon allows you to use vehicle roboports. So what I did is I set up a train using those items, and in the two cargo wagons, I put in a pair of roboports, so that allows me to manage up to 100 robots in each one. And then I also researched this vehicle fusion reactor, which I think is... Where was that? Oh, here we go. Angel's enhancement. Yeah, so the vehicle fusion reactor is fairly easy to make once you get the white circuits. It's just circuits, iron and steel. Much simpler to make than the personal fusion reactor, obviously, probably because it doesn't have to be as small. So each one of these has those. Actually, I only have 50 bots in each one, so I can add another 100 bots to it when I need to. And then over here, I just added a couple of chests and filter inserters to take out all the wood and stone that I invariably pick up when I'm building things. So far this is working pretty well. I have laid down some additional rail. Before I get into that, though, I do want to say that I've been thinking a lot over the last couple days about what I should be doing next with the base. Because it wasn't very clear to me what I should be doing as a next step. I mean, I know I have my to-do list, but more Saffirite and Stereotype for sure I need, because we're almost out of both in the main base. We talk about making catalysts and some other stuff too, but really I think what I'd like to do is what seems like the best idea right now would be to expand out of the base in basically the same progression that we've built up the base this far. And what I mean by that is, to me, I think it would make sense if we first set up some offsite mining and smelting, or ore processing in this case, and casting, so that we can get plates, because we're almost out of ore here in the main base. So the next logical step would be to bring in plates from outside to the main base. Now at this point, I think the only thing that I'm going to be using the main base to do going forward is mainly to be making supplies, and possibly continuing to do some more research while we build up the rest of things, right? So we might just want to bring in plates. So I figured we could start by first gathering resources, getting them on the Logistics Train Network, and then we can set up an ore crushing and sorting facility where we can get the ores that we need. I think we'll possibly do a separate facility for the metallurgy, because I know some of the ores are used for ingredients other than just making plates. So it might be good to have those available on the train network. Some of those details have yet to be worked out. So to get started with the resource collection part of things, because of the fact that we've got several kind of small resource patches here that we can start with, what I did is I extended 2 lanes of rail all the way out here, and then I put a few one-way spurs here that we can set up train stations so that we can start to load ore and put those on the Logistic Train Network. Now over here, actually we can head over there in the train. I did have to move the track that this train is on. I had to move it down a few tiles to make room for an unloading station over there. Because if we're going to be bringing in ores or plates into the main base, then we're going to need a station to bring it in and unload it. So what I did is next to our coal station, I set up a multi-use train station. Actually, I set this up for ores, to be honest with you, not for plates. Right, so I set this up that we can request saffirite, stearite, rubite, and bobmonium. They'll go into these bulk rail unloaders, and then I've got loaders coming out that are filtered to each type. So we'll have 2 belts of each type coming out and then merging into one. We could double up the belts too, I suppose, if we need more throughput. But because we have these filters on the loaders, I thought it would be a nice idea to set up a single station that can handle multiple products. So I left the quantities here at 1 just because I don't want to start sending requests out yet. Now the other thing I did on the requester stations is I removed the combinator that I was using to keep the numbers, to prevent the numbers from going positive, because positive would turn it into a provider station instead of a requester station. But I got a good suggestion in one of the comments. Basically what I'm doing instead is I just set the provide threshold on these to, in my case, I just set it to 9.9 million. It's just 7 nines basically. And obviously there will never be enough here to reach that number. So that means that no matter how much material we accumulate here, it'll never present itself onto the network as a provider station. So that's a little bit cleaner. It prevents us from having to use a combinator in each place. We can just use the built-in function of LTN to take care of that. So once we get some mining set up, then I'll set these requester numbers, maybe to 20,000 each or something like that, and we can start bringing those in. Right, so to get all these to unload from there, I had to move this section of the track down by a few tiles, as I mentioned. And then I still have space for another station here, which we might use to bring in fluids. And I have a couple stations here. And as we saw before, I have room to expand further if I need to add more stations, or we could even expand to the north a bit if we need to add more stations to the main base, either to import or export stuff. All right, so the next step will be setting up mining and setting up those stations. So let's get started with that. I'm going to go to manual mode. I'm going to cheat a little bit by going the wrong way, just to shorten my path. we'll go straight. That way we can get over to the stations. Whoops. I'm in this car, so I was pressing right, but I actually have to press left because I'm going in the wrong direction. All right, we don't need a chain signal there. Let's pick that up. Yeah, and you can see the moving RoboPort range that I've got here. Now, one thing that I found a little bit disappointing is each one of these wagons is its own unique bot network. They don't work together, so you have to have bots in each one, and the bots in each one will only have access to the items that are inside that particular rail car. So that's why I've got rails and signals and stuff in both. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. It would be a lot better if the inventories could be combined together. One thing I can try is I could try maybe just using the regular cargo wagon and seeing if it can see that inventory. In fact, I wonder if I can make one. Yeah, let's try that out real quick and see if that will work. I think I've got enough. Yeah, I've got enough room to get everything out of here. Okay. Construction train wagon. There we go. All right, so let's try putting my signals in this one that doesn't have the RoboPorts. Right, and this one, I think, yeah, this one doesn't accept RoboPorts, but you can put shields and stuff. All right, so let's see if I want to get far enough away. Actually, I need to get some signals in my hand so that I can ghost them. But I want to get far away that my own personal RoboPort is not within range. Okay, so let's see if I put a signal up there. Yeah, okay. I guess that's the way to do it then. Oh no, there must have been one still in there. Okay, well that doesn't help. Okay, well I guess there's no way around that then, really. So I might as well use the construction train wagon, and then I can have more RoboPorts. Okay, so anyway, here we've got Bobmonium. Now I do have infinite Bobmonium, and I've got infinite ores in the other patches as well. I'm not going to be mining those yet because I don't have the acid that I need. So you can see when you get over the infinite ore, it turns into the fluid-based mining drill. So I'm just going to have to set up the drills so that they don't touch any of the infinite ore, at least for the time being. All right, but before we do that, let's set up the station itself. I'm going to back up my train a bit because I need to put in the bulk unloaders. So I'm going to grab a blueprint there, minus the station though. Yeah, because these are actually, let's copy our provider station, since that's what we really wanted to do. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that looks good. Let me see here. All right. All right, so let's put that down here. Is that good? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got plenty of room there. Oh, okay. I need to pick up some rail. light there. And that one can go there. All right, so we can call this Bobmonium 1. So let's go ahead and rename the station. And let's get some power. Actually, let's move that out one. There we go. That's better. Okay, and I need a combinator. There we go. All right, so that limits us to one train at a time. Our inventories are tied in, so I think that's good. Another thing I thought of doing was setting the provider threshold to be at least a full train's worth of material. Because when it comes to ore, I can't ever see a reason why we would want less than a full train. I'm just trying to think of whether, yeah, I don't think we would be in such a hurry that we would need it to. I guess I don't mind if I get less than a full train. You know, if we need it and there's some here, I'll just leave it at the default for now, which is 1,000. So anytime there's more than 1,000, it'll make its presence known that it's got ore that can be picked up. All right. So I think we'll load from this side. All right, so the first one, you know, that we would have 2 belts for the loader. That would be like the first belt coming in. So let me just set that up here. And we'll set our first line of miners right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them down like this, and then I'll just remove the ones that require fluid. And that way, when I do have the fluid later on, I'll be able to insert those in there and without having to disturb the other mining drills. Now with coal, I can't tell, right? Okay, yeah, I don't need to go farther than that. Yeah, I don't need that one there either. Okay. Now with coal, you may recall that I used the large area mining drills, but after thinking about it some more, I thought I would rather use the regular Mark II mining drills for these, just because I'll be able to get more throughput. I mean, it will deplete the ore faster, but that's fine. And if we need more throughput on coal, then we can add some additional mining drills at the coal mine as well. Okay, so that's 5. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll jog over to get that somewhat balanced. And I'm just going to try to cover this whole thing right now so that we don't have to come and place mining drills again later. Oops. I think I've got enough with me. Oh, okay. I'm a little bit short. Oh, no, I'm not. Because I got to pick these up. Let's do this the easy way. There we go. And give me those 2. And that one. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the juiciest parts of this patch are not covered. So I think getting those fluids, getting the acid that we need to do this on the infinite parts will be something good to prioritize. This requires nitric acid, and that's going to come from nitric wastewater, which we will be getting. Let's see, it's part of the paper making process, which I think we're going to be getting into later. And it's also part of making rubite chunks, which we're definitely going to be getting into. So once we start generating all that wastewater, then we'll be able to start producing the acid that we need. And then at that point, we'll need to set up an additional station. And that's something I haven't planned for yet. All of these mining outposts are going to need fluids as well. All right, so we should design that in as soon as we can. So let me get this going, and then we'll figure out where we can bring in the fluids. All right, so this, yeah, I messed this up. That's going to have to go there. That's going to have to go there. This can come across here, and then this can come across here. Okay. And then let's say we load these with, I got 5 belts coming in. Let's say we do 4 belts coming out. So we load in 2 on each. Then we need a 5-to-4 balancer, and I think I have, yeah, here's my red belt balancer book. That's kind of hard to say. All right, let's see if I got a 5-to-4. I think I do. There it is. It is big and ugly. But if it gets the job done, then that's fine. Out of belts. Okay. Well, we can do this in the meantime. Actually, let's just do that, and then we'll have to feed those in over there. Okay, so on the next one, I'm going to shift everything over a bit so that I don't have this type of situation again. But first, we're going to need to go back to get some belts. So let's go back to engineering. Hopefully all my signaling is set up properly. So far it looks okay. Okay. Guess I have to make a U-turn to get over there. That's not really a big problem though. I'm generally not, I don't expect that I'm going to be going to the mines very often once I get them set up. We can also dig this up too, but this is kind of inconvenient to get onto the rail network, which is why I'm not doing that yet. And yeah, I know that I could tap into this and use belts to take it up there to where I'm making plates, but I would rather just get my offsite ore processing set up rather than continue to invest in the starter base. And actually, let's I'm going to start to request more belts. Okay. Good. I can't wait to research more robot speed. That'll be nice. Alright, so now we can tell this to go to Bobmonium 1. And it ought to be able to find a path. It might be somewhat circuitous. Or circuitous. No, I think it's circuitous. Okay. One thing I don't like about these trains is when they go around a corner, they don't look good when they go around a corner. But aside from that, they're pretty cool. Oh, okay. Something I just noticed now that I should point out. Nanobots. I still have nanobots left, and I want to use them up. But the thing is, by default, when you have a personal roboport, your nanobots won't activate unless all of your robots are busy. So what I did is I went to the options, and if you go to the nanobot options, if you disable nanobots and networks, then it won't check to see whether it's in a network already before the nanobots are used. It'll just deploy them. And you need to do that as well if you want to use the termite bots while you have personal roboports equipped. All right, so that can go like that. And then these will go like this. Yeah, okay. Well, it's a little ugly, but you know what I could do? Yeah, let's clean this up a bit. I'm just going to move this. I'm going to move this whole thing over. I think I can make this work without having to do all this ugly business up here. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Where's my print? Here it is. All right, yeah, so I would like it to be like this. All right, and this shouldn't be a problem. There, that's much better. Okay, and then that one we just need to turn. That one goes there. That one goes there, and that one goes there. Okay, and then all we need to do is give these guys some electricity, and we're in business. All right, and I'm gonna line the power poles as much as I can. All right, one there, one there, one there. Okay. So we're mining Bobmonium. Let's add this to our resource monitor. There we go. Okay, we added S315. Okay. So let's rename that to Bobmonium 1. Okay. Good. All right, and then we're slowly accumulating. So let me get... I can't turn right. All right, tell you what, I'm going to send this to the PAX station to get it out of the way. And now that we're mining Bobmonium, we can test this out by setting Bobmonium. Let's see, these hold 64,000 each. So that's 120,000. I want to make sure I leave plenty of extra space for overloaded trains. Let's see, if I did Yeah, if I did two full trains of each, let's just do one full train of each. So we'll just do 16,000. Okay, 16,000 is one full train. And the request threshold is 1,000, so that means it'll request more when it gets... Let's set the request threshold for half a train. Right, so that way it'll request more when there is half a train or less available in inventory. All right, so far so good. Some people have asked why I'm doing 1-to-1 trains and not something bigger. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, because in Bob's mods, the ore stacks in 200, as you can see, rather than only 50. So right off the bat, we're getting 4 times the density in a train car as we would in a vanilla game. The other reason is that we have access to Mark II and later on Mark III cargo wagons. The Mark II wagon has 60 slots rather than 40, and the Mark III wagon has 80. So once we upgrade to Mark III wagons, the wagons themselves will have twice the capacity, and then on top of that, 4 times density. So it'll be able to hold 8 times what a 1-to-1 train would in vanilla. So that's the reason for using the smallish trains here in this particular playthrough. Okay, so that's working. Let's go and set up the next one. I think I am going to have to U-turn once again. I wonder if I could... Let's see, we go out this way. I wonder if I could... Nah, that's going to be kind of messy. I'll just leave it like this. Okay, and then the train is emptying. So we're storing up some Bobmonium. Let's wait for that to empty. All right, and then it will go back to the depot. Right? Yeah. Yep, and there should be no further requests for Bobmonium, since we've got exactly what we need. Oh, you know what? You didn't get a full train. I think the standard train schedule has the train leaving the station after 1 minute, even if it's not full. I think that's what happened in this case. But I think that's enough to get over the 8,000 threshold, so. Alright, so let's do another... Oops. I meant to do the U-turn the other way, but this way works too. Alright, so we can go back and get the next one set up. Which is going to be Saffirite. Let's get rid of some of the trees. Yeah, and I forgot to get more drills. Okay, now in this case, I think I will have them running east-west since the station is over there. Alright, so that'll be the first one. 1, 2, 3. Let's get that over there. All right, I'm just going to go up there in the car since I'm not too far away. Of course, I hit something. I always do. Okay. Yeah, and I am making Mark II mining drills. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Sorry. Let's change that to 100. What are you coming for? Wood. Okay. Thanks for that. And then we'll head back over there. Right, so between this episode and the next one, for crying out loud, between this episode and the next one, what I will be doing is setting up the rest of my drills here. Now on this particular rail, we've got Bobmonium, Saffirite, Stearitite, and Givelite. So I still need Rubite and I need Crotinium. So I'll probably set up another rail spur over here to get access to this Rubyite and Crotinium. I'll set up those two mines. And then I'll set up an outpost, which would have to be over here to get into our ladder structure. I'll find a good spot to start to set up an outpost where we can start to receive the ore and do the crushing and refining. Right, so now that you're seeing me do this once, I don't think it's necessary that we do every single mining outpost in an episode. All right, so let's get rid of some track. Let's clear that, and then I'm going to copy this station again. And that'll go like that. Now in this case, I think I'm going to want my loaders to be on the other side. There we go. Okay, so let's get the rest of these mining drills set up. Alright, and I'm out, so I need to pick these up. All those, those four. Alright, now this only needs sulfuric acid. And we are making that, but I'm not going to use it yet just because we're not making a lot of acid, and I don't want to use up all my acid for mining when I could be using it for making circuits. But that reminds me that I do need to set up the station for the fluids, which I failed to do. Okay. So, let me back this out of the way. Right, so for the fluids, I think what we could do is we could just put a second 1, 2, 3, and boom. We could just put a second station like this. Okay, and then I need more signals. Actually, yeah, I'll just leave those as regular signals. And then I think if we just do this, yeah, that'll be fine. Going back in, I think we can make these chain signals. That doesn't need to be a chain signal, does it? No, that'll be fine. Okay, I think that should work. All right, and then we can have... Now this is going to be Saffirite 1. And then we can call this one Saffirite 1, whoops, acid. Right. Okay, I need to make a combinator. There we go. And I think I only had the limit. Yeah, that was the only condition I'm putting on there. Okay, all the rest of that looks good. All right, so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 belts, which is much easier to balance. Let's see. All right, so if I do that, yeah, there's still going to be some spaghetti involved here, but we can get it done. Just do this. All right, we got to do this, obviously. And then this side, I'll bring over here. Like that, whoops, like that. Okay, that's fun. All right, this one should go over to the far side. This one, yeah, this is going to get a little messy. And how do we get these two guys involved? Maybe I should... No, I don't want to bring the belts. I should have given myself more room here. That's what I should have done. Maybe I need to bring this down farther. This isn't looking very good. Let's try this again. Okay. Yeah, let's try this. I think this will be better. As always, the better solution often presents itself if we exercise a little bit of patience. Okay. Oh, I'm using a microphone stand now, so I can get my microphone off of my desk. So hopefully that will result in less vibration coming through from the table, or from the desk rather. So if you guys notice any improvement or if it's worse in some way, please let me know. But I have like a little boom stand that is sitting on the floor, and then that way it's isolated from the vibrations coming off the desk from me pounding on the keys. Okay, so now we just need electricity. Could put that one there. Okay. I think this is the last required item. Okay. Now I don't have anywhere to U-turn here. Nope, back up. There we go. Alright, so let's head back to base, and then I'll set that up to receive Saffirite, and we'll make sure that that part's, pardon me, that part's working. This is mining a lot quicker than the other one. Oh, look at that. Actually, I'm saturating my belts, which is good. And I could use another radar over here. That one's mined out already. Okay, how are we doing on quantities here? There's 4,000 so far. Okay. So let's go ahead and set the Saffirite to minus 16,000. Alright, and that puts the request out. I like watching the system work. Alright, here comes the train. The fact that it's moving means that it has a valid path, which means that my signals, while perhaps not perfect, or at least not horrible, they're good enough to work. Okay, and then that will load up. So this is these are the conditions that the system puts in place. So it's got a request for 5533 just because I think that's all the quantity that was available when the request went out. But it'll continue to fill if it can. So it's going to wait until that and 2 seconds of inactivity, or until 120 seconds have passed. So it'll wait up to 2 minutes to get full, or to get the inactivity. And then it'll go to the main site to unload, so it'll wait until it's empty, and there's 2 seconds of inactivity, or again until 2 minutes have passed. So this is the dangerous part, because if it doesn't empty and it waits the 120 seconds, then it'll go back to the depot with stuff still inside it, and that can cause problems. Now what I've seen other people do is at their depot, especially when you have bots, at the depot you can have inserters going into active provider chests. So whatever they come back with gets dumped into a robot network, and then you can have another station that's just set up as a provider for whatever accumulates in there. And then it can eventually get picked up and used. But as much as possible, I want to try to design the system so that that never happens. Although we might have to do something like that at some point in the future. I don't know if I'll be able to completely prevent that from occurring. Okay, nice. And I think that's going to give us the full 16,000. Let's take a look. Right, so now, at least now when my Saffirite is out, I can run this belt up to where we're using Saffirite, or perhaps even, in the case of Saffirite, I might even just do a pair of belts. we can run that up there and make sure that we keep things rolling. Once I get casting set up, though, I think I would prefer to bring in plates rather than ore. So at some point I might just turn this into a provider station to get rid of whatever ore I have accumulated. But we'll see. I guess it doesn't hurt to leave it the way that it is. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Like I said, I'm going to set up some more mining for Saffirite over here. I don't know about that Givelite station. I might just find another larger patch of Givelite, because this one is not going to last very long. It's only 300 and some thousand. And I'm not sure when I'm going to have the acid available. I guess I'll set it up. I mean, it's already there, so we might as well just set it up and mine it out, and then we'll hit some of these other bigger ones. So, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. I will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.